I'm going to speak about the Research Vessel Heraclitus, like the Greek philosopher, on which I spent 30 years living and working at sea. There were supposed to be some slides. All right. The Heraclitus was in the Amazon in 1981. She traveled 2,000 miles to Iquitos because during an Institute of Ecotechnics conference, Schultes said, after being asked what the Heraclitus crew should do, he said that they should go up the Amazon. And so they did. And it took 2 months to motor upriver and do ethnobotanical work. I need the... Thank you. This is also when Wade Davis and Terence McKenna spent time on board. It needs to go up to the... That's all reverse. Okay, here we are. So here's the ship in the Amazon, where it spent 2 years. And the Heraclitus also sailed around the world several times, 250,000 miles in the Pacific, crossed the Pacific 3 times, several times across the Atlantic, and spent a lot of time in Southeast Asia and in the Indian Ocean. And it spent 2 years making a 12-part documentary film series about tropical cultures, coastal and island cultures in the tropics. And then the ship went to Antarctica. We sailed around South America during that time, and we had a very young crew, between 16 and 30. We studied humpback whales, okay. Doesn't work. Okay. And then the crew and the expedition team of the Heraclitus spent 16 years studying coral reefs in the Red Sea, the Indian Ocean, and the Pacific. I'm sorry, I do the same thing. Okay, here's the corals. And we also released and trained 2 dolphins to return to the open sea, which was a pilot project to learn how to do it. But it was not all plain sailing. There was also the ship sat on a reef in Samoa for 3 months and got rescued. We pulled it off ourselves, and also sank in a hurricane in Puerto Rico, but sailed off again after several months. Here you see the design of it. It's originally launched in San Francisco into the Pacific Ocean, and has ever since been to Antarctica, the Amazon, around the Cape of Good Hope and Cape Horn. and hundreds of people of 16 nationalities have sailed on it and lived a life at sea. It's 25 meters long and 6 meters wide, and sails with a speed of 5 knots with 14 crew. And currently it's in Roses in Spain, which is 1 hour north of here, being rebuilt. So the sea is a magic space, and as we're rebuilding our magic space, because the ship is in dry dock at the moment, and we have 2 years to go, and then we want to explore the Atlantic and go back to the Amazon River. The ship is our home because we take it everywhere we travel. And it's sailing on a ship is all about being together. It's working and functioning together in a closed environment. And the nature here is maybe not plants, but it's water, wind, sun, sky, stars, dolphins, whales, dolphins, seabirds, and clouds. It's like another planet, so close. And at sea, you feel the universe coming closer because you're so close to the sky. You have endless space above you and very deep space below you. And we rely on ancient knowledge, just like people from the forest, of weather, currents, navigational and sailing skills. Thank you. Okay, thanks. And we use also designs that are a few thousand years old, like sails, rope. So voyaging on a ship is much like an ayahuasca voyage. Some need to purge, like I need like 5 days to get over being seasick. And one guy got so sick that we had to tie him to the mast. You need some time to let go of the past, the shores behind you, to be in the present with your compadres in the sacred space of the ship. And this trip takes not hours, it takes days, weeks, sometimes months. And the longest trip we made was a 152-day voyage across the North Pacific. We lost our foremast in a storm. It bent over and fell into the water. We had to cut it so it would not puncture the hull. And that mast then sank thousands of meters to the bottom of the sea, which felt like losing an old friend. Your life depends on your equipment, and you develop relationships with machines and tools. Like our main engine is called Matilda, and a giant pipe wrench called Marcello. So when you're at sea, you completely rely on your friends, your companions. When you're asleep, they look out for you. They keep watch, keep the engines running, the lights on, wake you up in time when there's danger. You have to be alert at all times. You get a personal wake up. There's wake up bells, we're serving each other. And we're taking turns to tend to this boat, without which we would not be able to survive there. We also practice theater to communicate with people when we're in ports and to each other. And we're now rebuilding the ship, as I said, 1 hour north of here. You can have a tour of it on Monday. You can sign up for it at the Synergetic Press stand. The ship's made out of a composite of steel and concrete, ferrous cement. That's what it looks like now. And we're due to launch in 2020. It got stripped down to the keel, but we feel that the soul of our ship never departed. We replaced about 90% of it and carried the old hull out of the shed that we built around it. And here is John Allen, the inventor of the Heraclitus, that sits right here. at the beginning and last year. And the crew, the Captain Klaus, he sits over there, and we have several other crew members here in the audience, if you have any questions. And we're now planning our next expedition. We're looking for collaborations and possible crew, scientists, adventurers, artists. And we want to continue to study sea people. Here's more or less one proposed route. We want to sail down the West African coast and around to South America, then back to Africa. Okay, sorry, first the West African coast, then the South American coast, following the currents, and then go to the Amazon, then the Caribbean, and around North Africa, the North Atlantic. But there's other ways of doing it, or going first to the Amazon. It's very complex because you have to be, for the winds, to be right, to drive your sails in the right time, at the right ocean, in the right current. So we want to study the people who live on and by the sea, as all coastal and island communities are now impacted by global warming. Sea level rise, silent storms and species extinction, spiraling coastal development in shipping and tourism and population expansion all affect people who live by the ocean. And the loss of generations of ecological knowledge and cultural practices that inform and cohere communities is accelerating. So we will make interviews, as we've done for the past few years in the Mediterranean, all around the Atlantic Ocean. And we want to connect and find effective and creative initiatives of people addressing challenges of climate change. So that whole trip will take about 5 years and 30,000 nautical miles. And all people can be sea people. It's a cultural group that mainly depends on skill and experience, beyond race, family, and region. Somebody who excels in marine skills and experience will have respect in every society, nation, and race. There's an anthropologist called John Mack who said, ships are the first truly cosmopolitan spaces. And while the West views the sea as a quintessential wilderness, a void without community or history, for other cultures, sea spaces are also spiritscapes and rich domains filled with cultural references and ancestors. The expedition team is an international crew across all ages, from 2, the captain's daughter, skills, and to Nigel, who's older, and across all ages, skills, and cultures. And one of our heroes, Wade Davis, said about the ship, we have to elevate our imagination to another sphere of life, the ethnosphere, which is the sphere of all of our hopes. Because there is indeed a fire burning over the earth, taking with it ancient cultures, visionary wisdom, plants, animals, languages, all the best of our human nature. Quelling that flame, reinventing the poetics of diversity, is the greatest challenge of the next era. And the Heraclitus is a symbol of that hope, a moving ship, a moving platform of poets, artists, dreamers, scientists, exemplifying by their own sincerity and intent our own human quest, celebrating everything that we are. If you would like to, again, sign up for the tour, you can come to the Synergetic Press book stand. And also, if you want to help us rebuild, you can go to the website. It's called rvheraclitus.org, and you can talk to any of us, the crew, and myself after the presentation. Thank you.
Now we have time for questions.
Ahora tenemos un tiempo para preguntas. Con el micrófono, por favor. Que ustedes sepan, ¿se conocen las interacciones químicas después del consumo de ayahuasca? Si hay algún precursor en el cuerpo que se agote como resultado precisamente del consumo de ayahuasca y que por tanto habría que tomar un suplemento antes. O si se va a proceder a un consumo regular de ayahuasca. ¿Algún precursor, me pregunto? ¿Algún precursor que necesite de un suplemento?
Not in my knowledge. Any precursor which gets depleted from the body.
¿Alguna célula precursora que se agote en el cuerpo con el consumo de ayahuasca? Eso pregunta la señora. Yo no lo sé, yo no lo he encontrado en mi investigación, por lo menos. No, ni la DMT, ni la armina, estos productos químicos, estas sustancias químicas no agotan, no gastan, no consumen otros elementos químicos de nuestro propio cuerpo que luego requieran pues un suplemento. Ya lo he entendido. Sí, yo no sé de ningún elemento que se agote. Cuando la serotonina se aumenta temporalmente, durante 21 días y después desaparece, esto lo sabemos, que no sé, se hiporregula el propio cuerpo o qué se hace con el aumento de la serotonina. Y no sé si hay compensaciones de este tipo en el cuerpo para un aumento temporal y esa reducción, esa caída subsiguiente. Podría ser por los alcaloides de armina, hay inhibidores de la monoaminoxidasa y el nivel de monoamino neurotransmisores podría aumentar en el cuerpo y el cuerpo podría estar haciendo sus propios ajustes. Esto se ha visto en la medicina alopética, por ejemplo, se ha visto, pero yo no, en mis estudios, tampoco sé si esos estudios se hicieron con ayahuasca, por ejemplo. Podría ser interesante si hay algo que suceda así a largo plazo, cuando se consume ayahuasca a largo plazo.
Hello, good morning.
Buenos días, yo quisiera preguntar a Ordilena. ¿En inglés o en portugués? Ahora no hay traducción al portugués, ¿eh? En esta sala le van a ayudar. ¿Hay diferencias a lo largo del día, ¿no? De la producción de DMT en la planta? Yo le ayudo, perfecto. Yo le traduzco. Yo he leído que hay diferencias en la producción de DMT en la planta a lo largo del día. Es decir, Psychotria viridis puede que produzca más DMT por la mañana, en el alba y quizá también en el atardecer, pero no durante el día. Quizá a mediodía sea menor la producción. Eso es lo que he leído. ¿Es cierto?
Produção de DMT.
Yes, there's a variation
I
throughout the day.
understand Portuguese. Ah, well.
No, pero que traduzca, por favor, para el público. Esto se conecta con la fotosíntesis. Bajo estrés hídrico, la chacruna, a la chacruna le gusta el agua fresca. Entonces le damos sombra y agua y tiene cantidad. Puede que sea puede que necesite almidón para producir los metabolitos durante la noche, bajo esas condiciones. Por la mañana tiene una alta concentración. En el horario de Amazonas, si están presentes esas condiciones, ahí habrá altas concentraciones de DMT en la mañana, y en las zonas más frías y luego más tarde a las 2, a las 3 de la tarde, se reduce la producción. Se reduce la producción y después vuelve a aumentar nuevamente la producción. Para que el té tenga buena calidad de DMT, merece la pena tener en cuenta esas horas, las 6 de la mañana y las 6 de la tarde. Ahí es donde tendremos la mayor concentración de DMT en la planta. Son las mejores 2 horas del día, 6 de la mañana, como decía, y luego 6 de la tarde aproximadamente. Yo tengo un par más de preguntas, no sé si es posible. Sí, pues adelante. ¿Una más quizá? Una más. Bien. ¿Cuál?
Para gente como nosotros, that we're trying, I live on the island of Mallorca.
Yo vivo en la isla de Mallorca y ahí tenemos un invierno suave, pero bueno, invierno al fin y al cabo. Y yo pues cultivo mis plantas bastante bien, me sale y hago mis brebajes. Pero esa es la cosa. Yo pregunto, ¿sufren en invierno las plantas? ¿Sufren? ¿Padecen? Yo creo que sí, pero bueno, estoy consiguiéndolo. Así que no sé si me puede dar algún consejo.
Mejor recolectar al final del verano.
Então, a recomendação, a chacrona, ela pode ser cultivada em vasos, mas ela vai ser necessário que você coloque ela em casa.
La chacruna se puede cultivar en casa. Tiene usted que ir aclimatando las plantas poco a poco. Esa sería la primera recomendación, porque no hay garantía de éxito, sin embargo es la mejor manera de hacerlo.
Oh, sorry, we don't have time for...
No tenemos tiempo para más preguntas, lo lamentamos. Le pediría que tuvieran unos 5 minutos de paciencia porque tienen que subir a la mesa los 2 siguientes oradores. Muchísimas gracias.